Studio Ghibli films are often remembered as beautiful, charming, almost redemptive works, films that allow us to breathe a little. But Grave of the Fireflies is the opposite. Set in Japan during World War II, in the middle of bombings, destruction, hunger, and human collapse, from the very beginning, the film makes its tone clear. There is no light adventure here. No magical escape. We begin with fire, bombs, destroyed homes, and a world reduced almost to ashes. And that is why the image of the firefly matters so much. A small light in the darkness, but also a fragile light. Fireflies are something that appears outside, in the open, where people without shelter are forced to live. In this sense, these small, almost insignificant animals points to the condition of these two children, Seita and Setsuko. Homeless, displaced and stripped of protection, they live in a world where childhood itself has been thrown outside. The first great tragedy is the passing of their mother. Seita sees her body destroyed by the bombing, while Setsuko, still innocent, waits for her mother without fully understanding what has happened. And from that moment on, Seita does what he can. He turns toward his little sister, and in the middle of war, hunger, and devastation, tries to give her small moments of happiness, taking her to the beach, playing with her, and creating little scenes of beauty and joy, trying to protect her from the full horror of reality. Even when everything collapses, love still tries to make life bearable. Because around these children, what we see is not only military conflicts, but human indifference. Their aunt takes them in, but slowly becomes cold, resentful, and cruel. She complains, sells their mother's clothes, and treats them more like a burden than like orphan children. And this may be the central theme of the film. World War II does not only kill those who lose their lives, it can also wound the souls of those who survive. People remain alive, but lose tenderness, mercy, and the ability to look at another human being and respond with love. That is what happens to the aunt. And later, in different ways, to others around Seita as well, the farmer who refuses to help, the doctor who sees Setsuko's illness but does almost nothing, the police who help Seita and let him go, without truly caring what will happen to him. Everyone sees suffering, but almost no one truly stops. And in the middle of this, Seita makes his own tragic mistake. He leaves his aunt's house with Setsuko and tries to live on his own. On one hand, there is courage in that. He refuses daily humiliation, and wants to create a little world for his sister, showing inventiveness, strength, and tenderness. The cave becomes their small home, and the fireflies, their electricity. Their little refuge becomes, for a moment, almost beautiful. In a great lesson on how to deal with suffering and poverty, Seita tries to turn misery into imagination, to give a child some happiness even when the world has become supposedly unbearable. But nature, however beautiful, is not enough. The lake, the fields, and the fireflies, all of it is beautiful. And yet beauty alone cannot feed a child. Setsuko slowly weakens. Hunger takes over, but Seita begins to lose clarity. His love is real, but it becomes trapped inside pride, fear, and isolation. He wants to save his sister alone, and that is where his tragedy becomes even deeper. Because he has money in the bank. He could have asked for help sooner, returned to his aunt, admitted that he could not do this alone. But he does not. Closed inside his own cave, literally and spiritually, he cannot read reality anymore, and cannot accept his own limits. At the same time, the people around him also fail. The tragedy is not only his. It belongs to a whole society that, affected by the destruction, no longer knows how to protect the weak. And that is where Grave of the Fireflies becomes more than an anti-war film. It is also a film about the fragility of human bonds. Armed conflicts destroy cities, yes. But it also dries the human heart. It makes people indifferent. It teaches them to survive so brutally that they forget how to love. The fireflies, then, become a perfect symbol. They are fragile lights, shine for a moment, then disappear. They remind us of the children, of the souls lost in bloody conflicts. but also of a possible light beyond this world, a symbol of hope that some form of transcendent life can exist beyond this tragedy, and of the joy that can be found now, even amidst poverty and suffering. The film opens and closes with that strange, almost spiritual image, the children looking back at their own lives. As if the story were not only asking what happened to them, but also judging us. How do we look at suffering? How do we respond when someone near us is hungry, abandoned, or alone? And this is where the film speaks to us today. Most of us are not living through open military conflict, but many of us live in another kind of battle, an interior one. We isolate ourselves, disappearing into screens, phones, social media, anxiety, and resentment. We hide in our own caves, stop seeing the people around us. And little by little, we become like the adults in the film, alive, but indifferent. That is the warning. Do not close yourself inside your own cave. Do not let suffering make you proud, isolated, or blind. Ask for help. Accept your limits. Work. Serve. Love the people around you. And when you see someone suffering, do not simply walk away. Because the real tragedy of Grave of the Fireflies is not only that 2 children lose their lives, but that they, and many other children of that time, lose their lives surrounded by a world that no longer knows how to care. As Seita's creative courage shows us, even in poverty, pain, and without comfort, we can still have a heart capable of love. And if we still have that, then even in the darkest night, some small light can remain.